The Ultimate Fighting Championship, aka UFC, has become the leading promotion for American mixed martial arts over the last 2 decades. With the company holding UFC events almost on a weekly basis, they've taken things to a new level by traversing the globe to expand MMA over the entire world. Today's video will bring you all the latest UFC news from new entries to UFC 280 and more. Kicking us off, Muhammed Mokaev vs. Malcom Gordan booked for UFC 280. Muhammed Mokaev has been added to a lineup that was already full. Mike Heck of MMA Fighting confirmed with people who know about the fight that the unbeaten flyweight prospect will face Canada's Malcom Gordan, 14-5, at UFC 280 on October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. This fight will be on pay-per-view card with 2 title fights and a number of other big fights. ESPN was the first to talk about the game. Mokaev's pro record is now 7-0 after he beat Charles Johnson at UFC London by a clear decision. In his first fight in the octagon, he beat Cody Durden and had him on the ground in 58 seconds. Mokaev also has a 22-0 record in amateur fights, and even though he just turned 21 on Saturday, MMA Fighting's global rankings have already given him votes. Gordan has won 2 straight fights after starting his UFC career with 2 losses. He beat Francisco Figueiredo by unanimous decision in July of 2021. Then at UFC Vegas 47 in February, he put Dennis Bondar to sleep with an armbar in the first round. The main event of UFC 280 is a fight for the vacant lightweight title between the last champion Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. In the co-main event, bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling defends his title against TJ Dillashaw, who has won the title twice before. Next, Taila Santos decided not to have surgery after losing to Valentina Shevchenko at UFC 275. Her manager, Tiago Akamura, told MMA Fighting that Taila Santos would not go under the knife after all. Santos broke the bone under her right eye when she and UFC queen Valentina Shevchenko bumped heads during the 3rd round of their title fight at UFC 275 in Singapore in June. Doctors in Singapore told her she needed surgery before she can go back to Brazil. Santos decided to fly back to Brazil and have the surgery done there. However, after her doctors and specialists did more tests, Santos decided not to have the surgery. Akamura says that Santos is already healthy and getting ready for the next challenge. Once we're here in Brazil, Santos talked to specialists. The manager said, "They told us more about the procedure and what might happen to her in competition if she had surgery or let the fracture heal on its own. The doctor kept an eye on her for 2 weeks. And at the end of that time, he told us not to do the surgery." After a headbutting accident, 2 of 3 judges had Santos in the lead going into the championship rounds. However, she lost rounds 4 and 5 on all 3 scorecards. In the end, a split vote that Shevchenko was the winner, 48-47, 49-46, 47-48. It's still unclear whether Santos will be able to fight again or if the UFC will give the Brazilian a shot at the belt right away when she returns. A few days after the loss, Santos told the MMA Fighting podcast, Tricaco Franca, "I was waiting for Bruce Buffer to say my name. I was really hoping to hear Taila Santos, but he didn't say that name," Santos said. "I think I won until the 3rd round when my eye was still fine, but I still took her down in the 4th. I got knocked down in the last round, but I knocked her down in the first 4. I think I won the first 3 rounds." Moving on, Dominic Reyes provides career update following long layoff. After getting brutally knocked out by now champion Jiří Procházka, is one of the most exciting fights of 2021. 2-time UFC title challenger Dominic Reyes wants to come back this fall. Reyes just needed to get away from the chaos of MMA and the UFC for a little while. Reyes recently said on the MMA Hour, "I had to do some soul searching on my own. I had to figure out my own problems before I could really talk to the media, because the answers I would have given wouldn't have been true. I went home, got my life together, and I went back to where I came from. Now I feel good about my life, my future, and what's coming next." In May of 2021, Procházka vs. Reyes was the main event at the UFC Vegas 25. After a hard fight, Procházka knocked Reyes out with a spinning back elbow to get a chance to fight for the title. In the main event of UFC 275, the Czech star won the title by getting a submission in the 5th round. It was Reyes' 3rd straight loss. In his previous 2 fights, he also lost championship matches against John Jones and Jan Blachowicz. The 32-year-old said he wasn't thinking about quitting after getting knocked out in back-to-back fights. The number 9 light heavyweight in the MMA Fighting global rankings won his first 6 UFC fights, including wins over Jared Cannonier, Ovince St. Pierre, Volkan Ozdemir, and former UFC champion Chris Weidman to get his first shot at the title. The Devastator may be a little down after losing his last 3 fights, but he feels ready to make a big comeback in sports. In related news, Juliana Miller explains inspiration behind DX Crotch Chop celebration after winning the Ultimate Fighter 30. Juliana Miller won the biggest race of her young career on Saturday, and she was happy to talk about it afterward. Miller finished Brogan Walker in the 3rd round to win the Ultimate Fighter 30 flyweight tournament and became champion. She also added her own touch by making a crotch chop motion at Walker. The party made people think of the classic pro wrestling stable Degeneration X, which had WWE superstars like Shawn Michaels and Triple H in its different forms. Miller talked about the idea behind the move at the press conference after UFC Vegas 59 on Saturday. Miller said, "When my grandmother moved here from Brazil, she didn't know any English. She learned English by watching TV shows. So when she was just starting to learn English, she said that she loved wrestling because she didn't have to understand the words to know what was going on. She could just watch what was happening." More than anything, the suck it gesture came from the fact that she sat up on this same table and said that she was was going to highlight reel knock me out cold. It felt good to stand over her and say, "Look at you now." Miller, 3-1, was one of the most interesting people on the last season of The Ultimate Fighter, and she proved it in the cage. In the quarterfinals, she beat Claire Guthrie by decision to get back at her one pro loss. In the semifinals, she submitted Caitlin Neal to set up her match with Walker. On Saturday, Miller dominated Walker from the top position for most of the fight. With just over a minute left in the fight, he finished him off with a ground and pound move. Miller and Walker were upset with each other before the fight, which made it even better for the Team Juliana Pay member to win. Even though Walker had 3 times as much professional experience as Miller, she went into the fight full of confidence, and that confidence only grew as the fight went on. By the third round, she was physically and verbally fighting back at Walker. "Sean O'Malley is the least dangerous and easiest fight in my division," said Ricky Simon. Ricky Simon knows that he probably won't get to fight Sean O'Malley anytime soon, but he knows what a big chance it would be for him if he did. Simon asked O'Malley to fight him again after his impressive submission win over Jack Shore in the second round at UFC Long Island. Shore had never lost before. This call-out didn't work out though, because O'Malley ended up fighting former UFC champion Petra Yan at UFC 280. But before the fight was scheduled, Simon was honest about where he thought O'Malley fit in the bantamweight division. Simon said, "It's the biggest fight with the most people watching, but it's also the least dangerous and easiest fight in my division. I think O'Malley is the easiest guy to fight out of all the top 10 guys that could be up against. I know he has a lot of fans, and I think it would be fun for them as well. He's good at what he does, and I'm tough in there." Simon was then asked if O'Malley would be an easier fight than Shore, who went into the octagon at UFC Long Island with a perfect 16-0 record, and he doubled down. At UFC 276, when he fought Pedro Munoz, O'Malley faced his first big top 10 test. After O'Malley poked himself in the eye by accident, the fight ended quickly and was ruled a no contest. From Simon's point of view, both the fight and the outcome were very disappointing. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Make sure to like and follow for more amazing content. Till next time, cheers!